All right, let's get into it. Today, we are not just talking about leadership in the abstract. We're going to dissect it piece by piece. We're going to look at the actual blueprint of a modern executive by digging into the professional journey of Deseray Johnson. This is all about how nonstop learning forges a truly top-tier leader. You know, when you see a quote like this, especially from a senior leader at a huge company like Choice Hotels, you've got to ask yourself, how does someone get that kind of reputation? Well, I'll tell you. Praise like this doesn't just happen by accident. It's engineered, deliberately, through constant, continuous learning. Get a load of this number, 15,260. That's how many minutes of formal training this one person completed at just one corporate university. We're talking about Choice University here. I mean, that is just a staggering amount of time. But you know, a big number is just a big number. What does it actually mean? What does over 254 hours of dedicated training really build in a leader? Because it's not just about collecting certificates, right? So let's dive in and see how all this time translates into real-world results and a blueprint for success. I think the best way to wrap our heads around this is to think of it like an architect's blueprint. Seriously, every single skill she learned, every course she took, it's all a deliberate part of a much bigger, much more impactful structure. It's literally a design for a career that's built to lead and built to last. So where does any architect start? Well, with a solid foundation, of course. For any leader in the hospitality world, that foundation has to be this unwavering, rock-solid commitment to safety and compliance. This isn't just some box you check off. It is the absolute bedrock of the entire operation. And what's so wild about this slide is you can see the sheer scale of that commitment. Just look at that first bar. We're talking over 3,800 minutes. That's almost 65 hours on a single course about preventing injuries. The data here just screams that this was an intense, strategic focus on the areas where things can go really, really wrong. And okay, this is where it all comes together. This is where the theory smacks right into reality. Because all those hours, they have to lead to something tangible, right? They've got to connect to a real business metric. And in this case, oh yeah, they absolutely did. So here's the crucial takeaway. This training wasn't just some academic exercise. It had a massive, measurable, high-stakes impact on the business. I mean, cutting liability incidents by 50%, that's a huge win. It saves the company a ton of money and protects their reputation. And getting zero critical findings on an audit, that's just operational excellence, plain and simple. Okay, so let's move to the next layer of our blueprint. With that foundation of safety poured and set, the focus can now shift from just managing risk to actually maximizing human potential. This is about building the real structure that sits right on top of that solid base. And this right here perfectly captures that mental shift. The role literally evolves from being a safety inspector who just enforces rules to becoming a team architect who designs an entire environment, a whole culture where people can thrive and do their absolute best work. It's proactive and creative, not just reactive. So how does a team architect actually build? Well, they use proven frameworks. Her training used these super practical, effective models like the tell, show, do method. And this isn't about giving a long lecture. It's a simple but powerful loop that makes sure what you're teaching actually sticks and gets applied, instead of just being memorized and then forgotten a week later. Okay, but here's the secret weapon, the thing that really separates a good manager from a great leader who can develop talent. It's applying modern teaching frameworks from the world of education into the corporate world. By mastering something called 21st century learning design, she learns how to completely shift training from just passive listening to active problem solving. It's about creating real scenarios where staff has to collaborate and figure things out instead of just being told what to do. And the result? Staff got up to speed 30 to 40% faster. That is a massive competitive advantage. And now for the accelerator. In our architect analogy, this is the smart tech. Think of it as the wiring, the data ports, the automation that makes the entire building smarter, faster, and way more valuable. This is where that traditional blueprint becomes a blueprint for the future. This side-by-side is just fascinating to me. On one hand, you've got this deep, specific industry knowledge from Choice University, but on the other, you've got over 200 hours dedicated to learning cutting-edge tech skills on Microsoft Learn. This isn't an either-or situation. It's a super powerful combo of knowing your industry inside and out and being digitally fluent. And when you look at how that time was spent, you see it wasn't random at all. It was totally strategic. This wasn't just learning software. It was learning the very systems that power modern business. She focused on cloud infrastructure like Azure, which is absolutely essential for scaling any operation. She dove deep into data analytics with Power BI, which is how leaders turn a sea of raw numbers into smarter, faster decisions. This isn't just IT training, it's learning to speak the language of the modern economy. And then when you zoom out and see the full list of credentials, the big picture just snaps into focus. I mean, look at this mix. You've got a certified Scrum Master for agile tech projects, right next to a Google project management professional. You have a Microsoft certified innovative educator alongside an IRS credentialed tax professional. This is not about collecting badges. This shows a rare and incredibly powerful ability to fluently speak the languages of finance, technology, and operations, and maybe even more importantly, to translate between all of them. So, after all this, thousands of hours, hundreds of courses, all these diverse certifications, what is the ultimate return on this massive investment? What's the real bottom line? Well, the results are crystal clear, they're quantifiable, and they are so compelling. We are talking about saving properties hundreds of thousands of dollars, slicing liability incidents in half, absolutely acing compliance audits, and making new hotel openings way, way smoother. This slide proves it. There is a direct line between learning and earning. Ultimately, what this whole case study shows us is that professional development, when you do it strategically, isn't just some side activity. It's the very architecture of your success. So the real question here isn't just for this executive, it's for every single one of us. Your learning is your career's blueprint. What are you building?